Sounds like just like a light day, meetings, things like that.
Stuff inside the room, so full day, just not out on the ice today. We'll be back out there tomorrow morning.
Is that a pivot or anything new?
No, that was planned.
Yeah.
That was planned.
What, I'm curious, like everybody else is, about this Connor Bedard. What have you seen of him, and what can you tell us what you've noticed about him this game?
Yeah. So when I've watched him play at the high end, skill, speed, makes plays, good release. I'm seeing him first time live for me tomorrow as well.
Is there anything about last night's game that catches your attention more urgently than some of the others, or is this just a game that you need to evaluate and correct?
Just going back and looking at it again today, a day removed. Just go back and take another look. I don't think I was too far off with what happened inside the game. I don't think we gave up a whole lot in the first period. They're a fast, aggressive team. We knew that going into the first game. I thought we were better in the first game than we were last night. I thought it was tighter game. It was tight in the early stages of that game. I thought it was tight from a 5-on-5 standpoint. I thought we edged them a little bit in the first period with regard to that. The thing that stuck out in that period was the goals. I thought we came out better in the second period. It generated more chances. I don't think we got around. I don't think we got into the interior right in front of their goalie enough last night. That could have been better. And then in the third period, like I said, we started with that power play. They scored right when it was over, and I just thought that we were flat after that. And so I think it was pretty. I thought my assessment last night was okay, and going back, looking at it today, realized we got to get to the interior more in the offensive zone.
So
last night.
Is that a simple matter of will, or is it?
So I don't think
you were not doing the things that allowed you to get there.
I think a lot of I thought we turned the puck over a lot at the offensive zone blue line. So if you're talking about getting into the offensive zone and setting up an offensive zone identity, if you're not managing that blue line the right way, well, then you're not getting in the offensive zone. You're going back and playing in the other zone. I thought we did that way too much last night. I do think that we were in the offensive zone, that there could have been more of an emphasis to get to that point. Sometimes we get to the perimeter and we're moving things on the outside. I wouldn't say recently it's been a major problem. There's been a couple games that stand out where I wish it was a little bit better. Last night I thought it could have been better. Go back to the Edmonton game. I don't think we played a very good game against Edmonton, but there's the Tampa game. I thought that we did it different ways. It was the back-to-back and going down into Tampa after playing Florida, and they're sitting there waiting for us. Good hockey team. I thought that we could have played a better game, but for different reasons. Prior to that, the other games, I thought that we were doing some good things, 5-on-5, generating, getting those hard areas, making plays in the offensive zone. So I thought it was, in the last 10 games or so, there's probably a couple games where I thought maybe we could have had a better identity in the offensive zone.
You've also had, you've only lost 10, but out of these losses, these games kind of snowball.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, what the common factor is there that when the snowball starts rolling downhill, you're not quite able to stop it.
I don't know. I'd have to go to the. Well, I don't think it was again. If I'm going to evaluate the game, I don't think that we snowballed to a loss in the first period. I don't think that it was that we didn't show up and compete and play. They scored a couple of power play goals. We wish we had another crack at that. I don't think it was we weren't ready and it snowballed from there. They scored, they scored 2, they scored 1, they scored 2 more. It was just accumulation of 5 or 6 goals. 6 goals that happened, and you'd like to see it go differently. I don't know if it's when you're almost halfway through the season, if you've got 5 games that have ended 5-1. I don't know if that's abnormal or not abnormal. To be honest with you, I'm not sure. So. I would have liked a different game in the last 10 games. I would have liked a different game in the last 10 games. Just a different way we played it. And so, like I said last night, wasn't totally that, but there were some things that we did that I think shot us themselves in the foot. The specialty teams, which have been so strong for us the entire year, I don't think it was on point last night. That offensive zone blue line, I think it prevented us from having the energy that goes into the offensive zone where you feel better about yourselves as opposed to chasing down things the other way. And so things that I think we can fix and manage.
Do you also think, I mean, you had trouble with the blue line on the power play too, right? You had trouble on your entries on the power play?
Last night.
Last night.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
No,
So again,
so I'm wondering, do you think, you know, the first one was, you know, not very good. So I'm wondering,
yeah, I agree.
Do you think there's frustration that then carries a little bit over to 5-on-5 with the top guys when they can't get in?
Yeah, I think the specialty teams, there's no question about that, Larry. I think specialty teams I think that they can give you energy, and I think that they can also work back the other way as well. Again, you know, you're talking about 2 units that have been high end for the entire season. So I think we got to teach it, which we did today, and we got to look for improvement tomorrow.
The zone entry stuff, is that, you know, they pressure a lot, so is that a
well, they're one of the best in the league. They
yeah.
pressure pucks on entry, and so they knock pucks down, they pressure pucks, you got to get through them, and you know, credit to them, they did a good job last night. We got to figure that out for the next time we play.
Is the key to breaking that just simplifying, or what do you see that you
It would be hard to go into it just based on, I mean, it could be putting it behind them, it could be a different route, it could be better support, it could be executing a play that we didn't execute. So there's different things that go into entries.
There hasn't been a lot of need to get the puck. You know, I mean, your entry on the power play has been good. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, best in the, one of the best in the league. But a night like this where you are a little bit stubborn, where you don't get the puck in, where you just don't, you know,
yeah.
on your third or fourth try where you can't gain the zone, you just need to, you know, throw it in and go after it.
I think maybe you could do that a few more times. I think we did it a couple times, and the dump probably wasn't good, and we weren't the first to touch it, and recovery wasn't there. Listen, there's going to be nights where we don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. Nobody has to like it. We try to teach it, fix it, and move on. And so, like I said, the power play's been pretty good for us, and the penalty kill's been pretty good for us. And I think inside of, you know, what you do on the next day and what you do in the morning skate to get ready for the next game, you try to be better at it, and that's what we're working towards.
Does part of that? Does part of that start with breakouts? Does that start 200 feet the other way?
You're talking specialty teams or 5-on-5?
5-on-5.
Everything. So as part of it's breakouts. Again, I thought we got hemmed up with the offensive blue line. You know, I thought it took away from an identity. It took away from a game, and so it's teachable. We'll be better at it tomorrow.
You pointed out that third goal you didn't like, and it was a mix-up and all that. Is that just stemmed from a weird bounce off the boards? I mean,
yeah.
It seemed like you just kind of.
So there was
set play, right?
So we've been using small area plays and little reverses on breakouts is common stuff,
right.
And so there was a mishandle, there was a miscommunication, not a miscommunication, but there was a non-execution of that part of it, and then there was a non-execution between the handle and the defenseman picking up the loose puck. It got poked to a corner, turned over quick, and it's in the back of the net. What I didn't like about it was I thought that we came out, it's a 2-0 game, I thought we came out with the right spirit in mind in the second period to do things the right way, to play better, and we were generating chances. We didn't give up very much in the second period from a 5-on-5 standpoint. We had scored to make it 2-1, putting a little energy in our bench, on our team, in the building, trying to take it back from the 2-0 that happened in the first period, and then that goal happened, and now you're fighting, you're coming back over that, you're saying, okay, still win the period, let's win the period, because it's 1-1 at that point.
And yeah, obviously your track record all season long is you lose a game, you make adjustments, and you come back and you win the next game. So, I mean, what sorts of adjustments do you make against Chicago?
Well, it doesn't, I mean, it's just things that we talked about. Yeah, we could be cleaner on breakouts. We have an example in the second period, right? So it ended up backfiring on us. I've already mentioned that these aren't major adjustments. These are adjustments to what we do in order to be successful. If we were unable to be successful on entry into the offensive zone, well, there's adjustments that can be made, and we talk about them. If the power play had options or adjustments or options that we didn't see or we didn't execute, we can talk about those, and we can look to execute them tomorrow and come back. And so it's nobody likes a game. It was obviously a big game, and so nobody's happy leaving the rink last night. We look to fix it today and get better tomorrow.